Hey, welcome to Fatherhood Uncut. This is Dustin with Wayne and Jared again, and today we're going to talk about our biggest struggles. So I'm just going to roll right into it. We're gonna go right to Wayne.
Sure. So biggest struggle obviously for me is failure. Failure is number one. I'm scared to slip up, lose what I have, who I have. I've seen this movie before. You have as well. One wrong turn, everything's gone. So failure's huge for me. What you got, Jared?
My biggest struggle is staying clean every day. Not to go into too much of my background, but after I got out of the army, I got into substance abuse. So staying clean is really like one of my main biggest struggles. Not that I struggle with it every day. It's gotten easier every single day since I got clean, but it's always in the back of my mind that one small slip up could ruin my life.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you guys feel like you've overcome some of your biggest struggles?
I don't think I've overcome any of them. I'm struggling still. I think it's a daily thing.
We are always struggling, yeah, but I'm saying like what has helped you to overcome some of your biggest struggles?
So, the scaredness of failing has made me overcome that, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So, keeping that in my mind of, having to see my kid through a different lens, like I'm locked up or something crazy.
Yeah.
That in itself keeps me kind of just keeping level-headed. Like, don't get bigger than what I really am.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jared, you said about substance abuse, right? What have you done to really like curb those urges?
I found like a good outlet to let out my stress and all that. I take it out in the gym, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I go in, all the stress that I have and all that. And when I come out clean on the other side. I feel
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I think what I was trying to get at is replacing those bad habits with good positive habits, right?
Absolutely.
Like if you smoke cigarettes, right? Replace that with a good habit. I know they're doing the gum or whatever, but I think the crutch here is replacing it with a good habit in your instance.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy because just like a little paragraph I wrote down is I have an outrageous addictive personality.
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't matter what I do. I'm 100% full send on everything. It started with stupid stuff, illegal stuff, and I've replaced it with gym and personal projects. So I dive 100% in everything and neck deep into 20 projects and kind of going one to another, kind of replacing it. But you also have to have healthy habits that you're replacing it with.
Yeah. Not replacing a bad habit with another bad habit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I kind of replaced one addiction with another. I spent a lot of time in the gym, but but I mean, I guess it's a good addiction to have. So.
Yeah, but you were like structured in that because I mean,
Well,
it's 7 a.m. You're out of there like this morning.
Yeah. I mean, I think another one of my biggest struggles is time management for me. Even though it may seem like I'm really put together with it, fitting everything into 24 hours is just insanely hard. It's insanely hard. My lack of sleep, it like dictates, whether I go do something, whether I'm too tired, or it's like I know I have to do it, but I'm so tired, or it's crazy. It's really terrible.
Yeah.
I struggle with time terribly.
And you just cut out of your sleep. So you like the people that sleep normally 8 hours a day. You sleep what, 6?
I sleep 4.
4. Yeah, I was gonna say 4.
And like on days that if I catch up, I don't have schoolwork that day, or I've already hit the gym early, then when my kids go down for a nap, then I'm sleeping. I'll catch up, maybe like an hour and a half or something, or hour and a half. But yeah, normally 4 hours.
Yeah, I struggle with time. Unlike you guys, I'm always late. Okay, you guys.
Hold on, he was actually early today.
He was,
but had to go back to his house to get.
But he still made it back before I did.
He
so
did,
that was good.
yeah.
So somewhat frequently, don't know why. Try to fix it. Going to family events, even with my wife, it's kind of weird because she's in the same caliber of lateness as I am, so it's fine. Like she's not always pulling me out the door. We kind of both run out the door at the same time.
Nice.
It just seems to be me, I guess. Definitely open to suggestions. Anybody have any good ideas or any tips? And don't just say wake up earlier. I'm on the same boat as Jared. I pull a little bit of sleep as I can as it is. So
how about you, Jared? What's your biggest struggle about being a father?
Right now, and I know it may sound like pretty small, but the way I react to certain things my kids do, and especially and me, like I cuss a lot. Like I did a lot before, and I joined the army, and like when you like in the military, you weave like a fine tapestry of like curse words. I mean, it's not uncommon for me to speak 25 words in a sentence, and like 20 of them will be like the F word.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, and like
In every one of its forms.
yeah, and it's terrible because I notice. A couple of times my daughter has said something or I'm pretty sure that's what she said that she definitely shouldn't have, and like. I think maybe lack of sleep has something to do with it too. Not in the cursing, but like the way I react to things. Like I'll drop something on the floor and I'll make it seem like it's the biggest thing in the world, and like it's it's really not. But like when you're tired and you're already just like on edge, like, and I'm part Italian too, so that probably has something to do with it. But I pop off at something stupid.
Anything.
Yeah,
Anything.
I mean, yeah, like I'll drop a fork when I'm making something, and it's just like, F this and F that.
Yeah.
It's like it's making my day so much harder because I have to bend down and pick up this fork, but. In my mind, it just seems like it's so much extra.
You're not saying anything that is not relevant to my life as well.
Yeah.
And I, it's crazy that just hearing you talk about this now, I'm thinking of the same things as myself and blowing up for stupid little idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
So going off of what you asked Jared, and going back to my time thing, I see a lot of me in both of my kids.
Yeah.
Some of the less admirable things as well. My son, super forgetful, so it kind of goes with the whole time management thing. And like, I feel so bad for him because I know I gave him that gene. He didn't just like learn these habits. He might have from seeing me do things, but So what you're saying about Avery cussing or possibly saying something like that, I'm like, man, maybe he's learning from me as well on these time management, forgetfulness type upbringing.
Yeah. So how about with your wives, Wayne? What's your biggest struggle between you and Crystal?
A good conversation we've had recently was definitely just for keeping the romance going. We've been together for a decade. We've been married for less than a decade, but we've been together for a decade.
Yeah.
So we went right to moving in with each other. So keeping that,
The romance alive.
exactly, that fire burning.
Yeah.
Even when she's, just had the flu for 3 days, 20 weeks pregnant and all that, she still wants to feel that, and I should obviously be giving that to her. Not just, necessarily in a sexual sense, but just as the waking up in the morning and the I love yous and then bringing breakfast in and stuff like that. So in doing that, there's a couple things that have crossed my mind. I don't want to give too many out right now because they're in the works, and I don't want her to listen to this.
Yeah. We're gonna touch on that in a future episode.
Mhm.
Keeping the romance alive.
Right around Valentine's Day, I believe.
Yeah.
But that's huge because that's 50%, if not more, of my family is my wife.
Yeah.
Right? So she's the one that keeps my head in the clouds but grounded and pulls me back in. Lets me know, hey, this is not a good decision or this is a good decision, or gives me the positive and negatives of what I need. Sometimes I get more upset about her thinking of what I'm doing rather than other people's because it means that much to me.
So maybe we should ask Crystal what the biggest struggle between you guys are. Since she
You
has to
probably get a
ground you.
better answer.
If she has to ground you, yeah, I feel like the same would be with asking Liz because, going off on tons of adventures.
I'm sure if you ask any of our wives the same questions, we're going to get totally different answers.
It'll be a longer podcast.
It would be. Well, they'd have to gossip first.
Yeah.
So how about you? You and Heather? Any struggles? Biggest struggle? We're talking biggest.
Yeah, I think just like spending time with each other, like just us. I mean, with me working and she's a stay-at-home mom, it's insanely hard to actually spend just quality time just with ourselves. Like you say, not just sex, but anything. If I'm not doing dishes and she's not watching the kids, like it's mostly laying down watching some TV, and until one of us falls asleep, which is normally me first. Which I think I talked about that before. But other than that, it's like I try to like you know, if she's having a rough day, I compliment her all the time. Or like I'm famous for grabbing booty. I grab a lot of booty when I'm at the house. Just like, damn, baby, look good today. So I mean, like, you know, I mean.
But then
like,
he falls asleep.
yeah, then I fall
It
asleep
comes
at night.
game
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I'm not letting you live that down.
But I mean, yeah, it's just like, you know, just trying to make her feel good and
Yeah,
you know, that kind of thing.
yeah,
Because her role is, I mean, our wives work, but your wife's role is extremely important because she's
Yeah.
like, you know, all of that all day long.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
like getting,
she is mom 24/7 for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good topic. I like
Yeah.
that. So go to the next one there. Sorry. So my next bugaboo is patience. You would think a father of 2, soon to be 3, would have learned patience. I'm in management, so I have to, you know, see different cultures and different people and learn their backgrounds, and I should have patience with that too. But it's still huge for me to get over. So, like you said, when somebody drops something or my child is putzing to get to the car, and I'm like, hey, we gotta hurry up. And she goes in super slow motion then. She like fake runs,
yeah.
but like real slow, and then it just gets out, and I'm like, no, we gotta go. Again, I think that's my personality, like 100% full send all the time, and I just can't, sit back and listen to Guns N' Roses. You know?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I feel like I could repeat those same words for me as well. Yeah.
So I'm super open to suggestions on that. If it's something that I can learn, if there's some crazy meditation to do, if yoga is going to help that, I'll take somebody up on that. But
What do you do for giving your kids equal attention? Like that's something I feel that I struggle with. Like my daughter is a daddy's girl. Like she is on me all the time. Like she loves being around me. Like so, I mean, I interact with her a lot. Whereas like my son, he's more of like a mommy's boy. Like he's always hanging on my wife. So it's like it's kind of hard to like equal out my time or to make myself feel like I'm giving them both equal amounts of time. You know.
I'm so glad you talked about this because I felt the same way. So I give Harper way more of my time than I give Aiden. And
well, there's a huge age difference there too. So I mean, he's not as I wouldn't say reliant on you, but because obviously he is. But I mean, he's more of an independent guy. You know what I mean?
And that's what I thought in my head too. But like, then I try to put myself into his mentality. Like, he sees me with Harp and tickling and cuddling and laughing and kissing all the time, and I pick her up and we go dancing, or like, just look at some of my social media things, and it's just me and Harp doing these crazy things. And I'm thinking, well, what does he think of this? Does he think that he's like second best now?
Well, do you let him know, like, hey man, we did all this when you were young. Now it's tickle time with her. Like now I spend time with you in other ways, right?
And
no?
that's how I think about it. But I have not come out to him and be like, hey, how do you feel we're doing? Like, where's the feedback? He's also a preteen, guys. It's really hard to get any feedback from him. And I say, hey, how was school today? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? What'd you learn today? Nothing. Like that's seriously, like it's so true. And so, and I show him pictures of when we were, when he was at that age and we were doing different things, like taking him snowmobiling in the dead of winter when he's 3 years old, and all these different crazy fun things that we did. But I feel like our relationship as he aged, our relationship should have aged and evolved into something else. So. It's a struggle that I have currently within myself. It might not even be. It might be something I'm making up. I could be just feeling this way, and he could be like, "No, Dad, we're great. So relax." Yeah. But I feel as though I'm spending a bulk of my time, obviously, because one does need more time at 2 than at almost 12.
Yeah.
So, but it's weird. Like you said the same thing though. Your daughter. I would have always thought that I'd be like number one with my son.
Yeah.
I still feel like I am.
I thought the same way.
It's just,
how much time do we got? We got enough time for go for one more?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, okay. How about money? Money is a struggle.
Always.
I mean, I don't care how much money you have, even if you're rich. I'm sure money is still a struggle in some way, and money is a huge struggle for me.
And they always make it, even if you're rich, even if you have money, they always still make it an issue, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I had to put a new roof on my house recently.
Yeah.
My basement flooded, and then today, literally, I thought my hot water heater went out, and like I was like literally praying that it did. I actually called my friend like at like 7:30 this morning, knowing that he sleeps way past that time. I was like, dude, you need to get over here now and check this out. Because I was like, I don't have $1,000 to put into a hot water heater, so I was hoping there was like some way to save it. And luckily, we were able to save it. But it's like scary when you have stuff come up and you're fretting with money.
Especially like right after, not even after the holidays, right between holidays. And
Yeah. With Christmas, just just happened last week.
So this is where the yin and yang of my wife and I's relationship, mutual agreement, whatever you want to call it, in this aspect. She is way more money conscious, and she had a better upbringing about money. My parents never went over credit, never went over money, none of that. And I seen how they spend, so I learned those habits. My wife, on the other hand, learned the opposite, and what I feel is like, too far to one side, and I'm far to the other, so we kind of meet in the middle. But it's still a struggle, and we are both full time, working class, blue collar type people. She's in the medical field, she can get a little bit of overtime. I'm on a salary, I don't get any overtime. So like, it's got to be structured, and any little thing like I took a picture the other day where we have a leak in the sink, been going on for months, and keep throwing money at it, and I'm like, something's gonna happen. Like, we're gonna get outside and use a garden hose. I'm not gonna use the sink no more. And it's a huge struggle, and I think that taking it and doing it monthly structure and seeing what's coming out and cutting out the BS, like the meal preps, that actually saves you money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Doing that saves me money. There's a reason why I don't buy protein powders and all that stuff anymore, because I'll calculate my meal plans for enough of that in my diet, and it's super cheap. Like, now that we started going to the market the last 2 weeks, so I'm buying meat from the market at an even better price, and it's better product.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways to get fancy with your money struggles, but don't get
ultimately it's trimming the fat in your budget and actually budgeting. You can only make so much money, right? Everybody that's going to be listening is in a career, a job. Right. They don't have just a plethora of money or other ways to make more money, so they have to trim the fat. For actionable step here, right? Trim the fat and actually budget. Sit down with your significant other and see where you can.
Or if you're single, you gotta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is harder then, because
single income.
Talk about
like
your
Jared's
single
income.
If you're a single parent or a single income, it's gonna be different. But trimming the fat, and also doing like the necessities, but also like making good choices on those necessities.
Good decisions on what you need.
Yeah.
Couponing, my wife does that. All that.
So many apps for that now.
Yeah. Yep.
That's good. Good topic, Jared.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
What do you have on the? Okay.
Yeah. So to round this up, we touched on keeping the romance alive. Money is a big struggle. We guys.
Time.
Time. We struggled with patience.
Oh yeah.
And struggled. Our biggest past struggle was transforming substance abuse. Transforming that into positive habits, right?
Yep.
And so a few ways you can be better with patience is mindfulness practice. Making conscious decisions, realizing that I'm becoming impatient, being more mindful of it. That seems to be the consensus of how you.
Yeah, just having that consciousness about.
Yeah, just being conscious of my patience is getting cut thin now, and just realizing that.
And letting the people around you know.
Yes. Yeah.
That's communication.
A good one. Yeah.
Hey, look, there's only a limit of my patience, and we're getting there. So let's work together to finish whatever is going on.
Yeah. Yep. So you think we're good?
Yeah. It was great.
All right. So this is Fatherhood Uncut, talking about biggest struggles and a few tips on how you can address keeping the romance alive, money, patience, and a few others. Thank you.